Okay, welcome to today's episode. It's your host, Nigel's Canvas. We have a very special guest today. This conversation, we're going to talk about many different things, breaking into tech, working across borders, bringing together communities across different groups and representations. We have Ore here today. She's phenomenal. We had a chance to connect via LinkedIn, and this is going to be very different. I won't say too much about it. I'll really pass the mic, let her introduce herself before we kick off the show. All right, please tell the folks who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Oroluwayo Fisher. I am Nigerian and I'm the founder of Break Into Tech, which is basically a small community I founded in my undergrad to basically help university students from Africa to find mentors and to basically have a seamless entry into the tech industry. And yeah, I'm so happy to be here today.
I
Excited for
love
the
that.
conversation.
Let's do it. We already were having a small conversation before we hit the record button, but I'm excited to bring it over. What inspired you to even start this type of foundation in the first place?
It started from my struggle. So, in my second year at university in 2022, I believe, I studied international business and trade, so purely business background. And I knew that I wanted to work in marketing because I had worked briefly in marketing with my brother. He had like a food startup at the time, so I had worked briefly in that, and I was really interested in marketing. But over time, my interest grew, and I saw more students at my university getting opportunities in tech, and I was curious to know what's going on in the tech industry. Like why is everybody going there? And upon doing further research, I realized like, oh, actually, it's not just what it's panned out to be because I saw mostly people in the software engineering track getting, more opportunities there. And there actually was a community I joined back then called Women's in Tech Club.
Love that.
I realized that a lot of the women that were in that club were also from the software engineering track, and it was mostly focused on people who were interested in like technical and that had technical skills. And so I was really just, I had that dilemma of like, okay, I don't want to code. I don't want to do anything technical. I still want to be in marketing, but I want to hop on this tech, trend that's going on. So yeah, I really just had that dilemma at the time. And what I decided to do was just research and see like what roles fit, my current interests, which were at the time marketing and tech.
Hmm.
And upon doing further research, I saw product marketing, which, from the description, it seemed like, something that I would be interested in. So I went to LinkedIn. At the time, I wasn't really doing LinkedIn like that.
For
Um,
sure.
but like I just went on LinkedIn, you know how you just send thousands and thousands of messages, requesting people to connect with you and to just learn from their experience. So I did that out of like the hundreds of messages. I think only like five people responded to me.
Right.
Um, and one person who actually responded was someone who I didn't know at the time, but she was also at my university. And she was actually a product marketer at a travel tech startup in Rwanda.
Wow.
And she was leaving her job to go to Google in Dublin. And she was like, you know what, we've had a conversation. I like you. Let me, recommend you to the founders of this startup so you can come on as a product marketing intern. And I was like, oh wow, like seriously? And she was like, yeah. And that was it. So like the moment I got in, I think I started my community like shortly after that because I was like, you know what? I don't know much about the tech industry, but I know that it's possible for you to work in tech, regardless of your
Yeah.
background. And so yeah, we started off as a club at my university in Rwanda, and gradually we grew more, into a community that welcomes other students from other universities across Africa.
Wow, that's amazing. I know we talked offline, but I have connections and ties to Rwanda as well. Um, Literally, my whole team is based out of Kigali. So I definitely, it's an area that I have a big piece in my heart. But let's talk a little bit more about your educational experience. I know you're currently in school now, but maybe kind of walk me through just a bit of your life, like at the high school stage, where you were at, what you were doing really quickly, and then maybe where you are now.
Wow, I've never been asked to go all the way to high school. I always start like talking about my life from undergrad. Um, but yeah, I studied in Nigeria. So I grew up
Hmm.
primarily in Nigeria, Lagos. I did my high school there, and then at the time, so I'm the last kid, and my siblings were actually in the university that I studied at. So my sister was in the Mauritius campus. It's called
Nice.
African Leadership University, and my brother was in the Rwanda campus. And then I was going to, undergrad, and I was like, you know what, of course, like I'll just apply to the same university. So I went to the Rwandan campus at the time, and I got a fully funded scholarship, MasterCard, to study,
Nice.
yeah, which was really cool. And yeah, so I decided to do international business and trade. Entered in, didn't really know what I wanted to do. Thankfully, my brother being there really helped a lot.
Nice.
And I was able to figure that out. And then after that, I worked for some time after I graduated. Graduated as the best graduating student in my faculty. Yay.
Let's go.
And I decided to work for a year in Rwanda. So I worked as a marketing lead at a fintech startup called Spen. And then after working
Nice.
for 1 year, I decided to, come to do my master's at Sciences Po in Paris. So that's where I'm at right now.
Wow. And is there anything that you wish you would have knew maybe a few years ago or even undergrad that you now have learned now, just when it comes to either your educational experience, just things that you've learned through your travels, or maybe some of the lessons that you've picked up so far?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, I think going back, I think if I were to change something, maybe like when I did start my university, I think I would have really tried to connect more with people earlier on. Because I'm realizing like the biggest asset, the biggest resource you could ever have is people.
Yeah,
They have taken me really far. And they're still taking me really far, like the people that you know.
for
And I
sure.
think sometimes you kind of, focus mainly on the people that you're familiar with. So I think at the time I was really familiar and like used to like my family, and I didn't really like branch out and try to get to know other people as much and as well as I should have. Because looking back, like I had so the university I went to is a Pan-African university. So you have people coming from all over sub-Saharan Africa and like even North Africa and like places like that. And I think I kind of stayed in my bubble with people that I was used to, mostly people from West Africa, maybe Ghana, those kinds of that clique.
Yeah,
And it's comfortable to do that, but you realize that, yeah, if you really want to go far, like you need to really push yourself out, and that's also like with networking and building relationships. So I think maybe going back, if I could, I think that would be like the main thing. But yeah, I have no regrets. So
I
yeah.
love that. What are your speaking of that, like what are your thoughts when it just comes to the digital world that we live in now and the good things about it, right? Where if the person can learn the skills, you have the ability to work, you have, the potential to work at major corporations. Even in my company now, there's several people that are actually still based in Nigeria, even in my last two companies. And so, when I'm in the motherland, when I'm home, I see both sides, right? You have the group of folks that are educated, that are on their way, maybe connecting to these opportunities. And then there's another side where it's like, hey, that just seems so far away. It seems just like such a distance place. Like, what would you say maybe to the other side who maybe is still in school, still figuring things out, building skills, but they never had a big internship or worked with the European or American company. Like, what are you saying to those groups of people?
Oh wow. I mean, being having been that or being part of that group of people, I think the greatest thing is like your mindset, and being exposed. I noticed the difference between when I got to university and I was gradually being exposed to a lot of internships, because that's one thing I will give my university. They really exposed us to internships that were outside of the continent. So
Wow.
even me being able to during my in my university at Rwanda, I went to the US like twice. So I did
Wow.
an internship in New York with a company called Libra, for 2 months, and then after that I also went for like a, a global leadership program in Silicon Valley, and
Uh-huh.
they provided a lot of those exposures to help us see that there's so much beyond what you currently see
Yeah.
here. And I think that that's like one of the greatest things, because when I look back and I compare myself to some of my countermates who were, in Nigeria and didn't have that same quality of exposure, I realized like with them, they couldn't see themselves doing an internship outside of Nigeria, or they couldn't
Right.
see like the possibility of like, oh, how is the company going to sponsor you? Where do you even find the opportunities from? Like, they didn't see that, they didn't believe that that could actually happen to them. And I tried to like tell them like, no, it's actually possible. Like, you just go online and you apply. Like, it's not anything special or
Right.
anything too far-fetched. And I realized like it's really the mindset that that affects, you know people seeing themselves beyond the bubble that they're currently in. And your environment really affects, like, controls that a lot. So I feel like with people who are in that space, you have the benefit of the internet and being in this digital era. I
Right.
think it's really important to connect yourself with, you know information that actually exposes your mind to the possibilities. Look at people who may be coming from similar backgrounds as you, which is something that is really key, and personal for me with Breaking to Tech, where we make sure we find mentors who have faced similar struggles.
Right.
Because I connect with you more if you can relate to my struggles, not
For
just
sure.
based on your successes. So look at people from social media, influencers or whatever it is, that connect to that struggle, and they can show you the possibility of you actually getting out from where you are to, going further. And everything is possible with the internet. So like, you can apply for opportunities online. It's not that difficult, or it's not that far. You can reach out to anyone on LinkedIn,
Yep.
and they can legit respond to you. And from there you can get an internship, and it's like, how did this happen? Like, I don't even know this person from anywhere. So many things have happened like that. And I just feel like there's no boundaries anymore. As long as you have data, you have, an electronic device, there's so much that you can do. But it's just the
Abs-
mindset. Yeah, it's just the mindset.
Absolutely. I love that. And it's like real skills, having a mindset, knowing that you can do it, and then of course the exposure and the connection. When you're working with your students and the people through your program, what are you guys telling them? Like, how are you helping them? What are some of the common challenges that you're currently seeing?
So how do we typically help them? Our model is a bit unconventional. So right now, or how we started it, was we didn't necessarily pair people with mentors, but we provided them with a database of people or contacts who agreed to be mentors to the students, and we basically left it in the arms of the students to create their own journey themselves. So we basically have like a mini website where you basically have access to mentors across the tech industry in like technical, non-technical roles. And you can reach out to them via LinkedIn, or you can even book a call with them, because some mentors allowed us to give the students their email addresses to reach out to them directly. And what that basically does is establishes a relationship between the students and the mentors. And these mentors are working at both small and big tech companies in Africa and beyond. And so with that, the hope is for them to be able to get, referrals for job opportunities that they might apply for, but also to get the motivation that they need to, you know, see themselves in bigger opportunities, bigger careers, and things like that. And basically having someone who has walked the path just hold your hand and, make it easier for you to walk the path as well. Because I really don't think it should be hard for you if somebody has already done it and they can just tell you how to go about it.
Right.
And so basically, yeah, that's how we started. So we also do a lot of events where we, bring on people online from different spheres to come and speak to the students about their experience and their journeys. And then we now do workshops as well, where we bring people from, also these different career paths to train them on specific skills. So, we've had someone from Meta come, who was a product designer, review
Nice.
some of the students' design portfolios. We've had recruiters, technical recruiters, come to review their resumes, give them skill like tips. to optimize their LinkedIn's, just basically training them and making them well equipped for the job market, and then also giving them the resources as well as the opportunity. So we have like an opportunity bank where we share
Nice.
opportunities regularly every week. And we have a community itself. We have many on WhatsApp where we basically just engage with them. The students also engage with themselves to have like a form of peer-to-peer learning. But yeah, this is to me, this is really just the beginning, because I know there's so much more that we can do. But yeah, that's basically how we want it to be a holistic form of mentorship, where it isn't just okay, we're giving you something and then you run
Right.
with it, but we try to make sure all corners are basically cut across. So it's like you have the people, you have the opportunities, you have the skills, you know um so you can take it on, and there's no excuse for, oh, I don't know where to find the opportunities. We've sent it to you. I don't know who is going to help me. You have the mentors, you get.
Right.
And so yeah, that's really what we try to help them with.
I love that. And when you think about mentors, your students, the mentees, is there any good examples maybe that you could share of like when you guys were working with a particular student, you could shout them out or maybe not say their name, it's okay, but just a good case study, right, that you could share with, hey, when I was working with this person or, you know, just anything from like a case study, a success standpoint.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I'll share based on a particular, student that has worked closely with me. So when I first started and I was trying to build a team, I had a bunch of people, that I added to my team, and these people were basically just volunteers, because at the time it was like a university club and things like that. But they were also able to use the resources from the club, leverage the community as well to build their career. Um, and a lot of them, I'll just give an example. One of them who started off in software engineering was very lost in the beginning of what he wanted to do, and the
Right.
community was really just like a guide to help him see, okay, this is the path he wanted to go in. And through like the mentorship, he decided, oh, he wanted to go in product management. And through like connection with one of our mentors, he was actually able to get an internship. And I think seeing like how far he's gone from there, because right now he's doing full time, I feel very, very proud of like not just what we've done, but like also just seeing him and seeing like he was able to leverage that and really just, show his full potential. Because I think, it's one thing to have the resources and everything, but it's another thing to actually utilize it. And I think it's very good to have people who show you that your work is not in vain, and like that they actually are taking it serious.
Right.
Um, and they're proof that yeah, there's something here. So yeah, I really just love to see people who from breaking into tech are able to show that, yeah, like I was able to grow my career, I was able to grow my understanding, my knowledge. A bunch of other people as well have also, not just with the aspect of internships or jobs, but more so in like confidence as well, because they're
Yeah.
confident posting on LinkedIn like what they're doing, what they're working on, their design projects and things like that. So I feel like in those ways, those are also wins, where it's like
Right.
they're able to show their skills to the public, and I think that's really really cool.
And you talked about LinkedIn. You have them posting. You know, we connected on LinkedIn. That's actually how we even met in the first place. I see you've been building a brand. Tell me about your experience on LinkedIn and why, people should be posting, even if they don't have a business, but just, creating a brand and just kind of putting out their opinion or comment on certain things.
Yeah. Ooh, my journey with LinkedIn. Okay, one, it was accidental. I don't know if I'll use that word. Um, but it's even like such a far distance to think of when I actually started actively posting. But I think it will probably be traced back to around when I also started breaking to tech. But I think I became more active when I had more internships and I felt like I had something to say that would actually add value. Because I had more proof of like, okay, yes, this works. And then like around the time when I also went for my internship in New York, I was posting more actively about that. So it started more accidental of like, oh, me just deciding that I wanted to post on LinkedIn. I wasn't very familiar about like how to post, how to build a brand, any of those things or the importance of it. I just felt like, yeah, I felt like, let me post, let me be serious on my LinkedIn. Maybe I can get more opportunities through it, for myself. I wasn't really thinking too far at the time. But along the way, I realized that LinkedIn is one of the most underrated social media platforms. I I realized that people people don't understand why, you know, we post on LinkedIn. I think people sometimes get annoyed by LinkedIn. But I noticed a huge or a significant change or impact in when I wasn't posting and when I started posting, not just on myself, but especially on Breaking to Tech. So the moment I started posting and sharing my own experiences, my struggles, why I started Breaking to Tech, the different things we were doing, I was mostly posting it on my page. And I noticed something. People connected so much with me and my story. And then the effect of that trickled into Breaking to Tech because they kind of trusted or they trusted the person behind Breaking to Tech. They saw the face and they were like, yeah, I know this person's story. I trust what this person is saying. I've grown to connect with this person. Every week I'm seeing her face on my page and on my
Right.
page,
It's like
commenting, I'm liking. I feel like I know this person. And so when I started talking about Breaking Tech and things like that, they connected with Breaking Tech because of me. And I
Mhm.
realized people connect more with people than with products or with brands.
For sure.
So it's a case of you form an emotional connection with them to the point that no matter what other business or brand you want to, launch, people will still connect with it because they've already connected with you.
Mm.
And I realized like that was the key for me. Like I didn't beyond Breaking Tech, I was like, okay, I actually want to build a personal brand because I want people to know or I want people to, wherever they hear or they think of, oh yeah, this person's vision, this is tech or this is, business or whatever it is. And they, connect so much with me that no matter what it is that I'm doing, I have a a community of people who are willing to follow me and who are willing to listen,
Right.
and who are willing to subscribe to that. So I feel like it's one of the best decisions I made posting on LinkedIn. It brought a lot of public speaking opportunities as well, a lot
Okay.
of visibility for my brand. From there I decided
Yes.
to also help other people build their personal brands. And yeah, I realized, okay, yeah, there's so much to this than just posting for the sake of it. So I decided to educate myself when I realized, okay, yeah, there's something here, and really see like how to do it better, how to be more consistent, and how to write better as well. So yeah, I think I definitely urge anyone who is not currently active on LinkedIn to get active. It's just that from one post. Honestly, I really don't think you need to be too, rigid on yourself of like, oh, I need to do this. Yeah, have a plan. I did have a plan. I have a content calendar that I use, but that was
Yeah.
developed over time.
Over time. You mentioned that people resonated with your story. And you also talked about how there was a point where you had to feel comfortable like posting on LinkedIn. But how would you encourage people to feel comfortable sharing their story? I feel like we all have
Mhm.
a story, we all have something to share. Even like if you have no job, I feel like
Yeah,
that's something to talk about. I'm starting from day one. Like, what would you
yeah.
say to that person who's maybe afraid to share certain things?
Honestly, I think maybe the fear comes from imposter syndrome, where you feel like you
Mm,
probably don't have much to offer. So why would anyone listen to you? But I
right.
love what you said of like even people who have 0 years of experience still have something to share that would be valuable to the other person. Because one thing I've always thought of is the fact that even if, for instance, if you're in university in your first year, you have 0 years of experience, professional work experience or anything, but think about someone else who is probably trying to get into university, who hasn't gone through the experience that you have academically and hasn't, gotten admission or things like that. you have that leverage. I feel
Right.
like there's always something that you have, because there's always going to be people that are, based on how life is, there is always going to be someone that is below you, even if it's not age-wise, but there's experiences that are different. And yours is unique to you. So in terms of being confident, I really do think that confidence is built over time. I When I first started posting, I definitely wasn't confident because I was just posting, and then I'll leave LinkedIn for like maybe 2 3 hours, and then I'll come back and see if people like my post or if there was any reactions, and then if there were reactions, I'll be like, oh nice, okay, then people liked it. But like I
Right.
wouldn't try to stay so much because I was scared, like, oh whoa, people, like, what if nobody likes it, then I'm a failure or something like that. But over time I was like, you know what, if I have 0 likes, that's fine. And I kept on posting until a point when I was getting like 10,000 likes, and I was like, I didn't get here overnight. I started
Right.
from the point when it was like, yeah, I'm running away from LinkedIn because I'm scared. But I think that definitely you need to, in order to overcome that fear, you need to face it. Like you need to just post, like even if it's just one post, do it. I've helped some other people who were also having that similar fear, trying to be their personal brand, didn't know where to start from, in
Yeah.
just, seeing like, okay, how can we start from day one of like, okay, I'm gonna make a post every week, even if it's just about my week. What is something I learned about this week? I post it, I put my picture there, or I don't put my picture there, and then I go, and then, slowly, and then you realize that actually people will start seeing you and they'll be motivated by the fact that you're posting, and that would make them want to post as well.
Hmm.
So I really just feel like the confidence issue is something that definitely has to be faced head on. And also, I do think that it comes from, if you're not very confident in your skills and what you know, that can also make you feel like, I don't know if I should, put it out there so that I don't seem like I know something and then actually in reality I don't know what I'm saying. I think it should also really, at the same time, walk the walk and talk the talk, so like you don't just post and then you're not actually doing anything
Right.
tangible. You get, because people can see through that. When you're able to see some posts that you can tell this person doesn't really have much substance, or like it's just like they're posting for the sake of it. But the
Right.
people that post and you're like, this person understands what they're saying, there's an
Hmm.
expertise behind this, there's like a knowledge behind this, or there's something authentic that they are posting from. So I feel like, especially if you want to make posts around like a particular field of work or whatever it is, you may not have done or had any real experience, but you could be doing, certifications, online courses, things
Right.
that will show that, oh yes, I'm actually building my knowledge in it. And when you post, share like, oh yeah, I learned this in a course. I've not done any job. I don't have any internship. But like, I learned this in a course online on Coursera or Udemy, and this is what they say. This is what they did. I decided to, take it on and do a project for myself, and that's something that really helped me. Before I was even able to get any internship, I founded like a small mini business that helps in selling reusable personal nails, because I
Nice.
wanted to apply like my digital marketing skills, and I decided to like create a small e-commerce website on Equid. And from there, I was able to build my proof of like, no one is hiring me. I will hire myself. I will put it
Right.
into practice myself. And I think that that's the opportunity that we all have, where it's like you can build something yourself. Nobody's going to stop you. If they don't want to give you a job, that's fine. Find a way to build a project. Find a way to work for someone for free, to volunteer, to build that, expertise or credibility. Because those are things that definitely add up and help you to have a story that you can tell people, but also help you to, build that credibility that people would want to listen to you, because they see, oh wow, this person has actually done some things, and they're not just coming from, a random
Right.
space.
It's real. It's real. Now, I mean, the biggest thing is like you can showcase the things that you're learning
Yeah.
and the vulnerability, and then eventually you'll get there, you'll look back and like you kind of miss those days. I know we're
Yeah.
coming up on time here. I have one final controversial question. I like to kind of spice it up at the end. Given your, currently studying and you've bounced around a lot, like you have a lot of experience in different places, when you're talking to folks from particular areas or countries, do you advise folks leaving their hometown or home country and maybe finding opportunities remote? Or do you advise them to leave or maybe go to school in Europe, etc., or wherever they can, Like, what's your opinion on that? Obviously, everyone's situation is different, but
Yeah.
what's your thoughts there?
Oh, as someone that did that at a very early age, I left Nigeria when I was 15, 16 to Rwanda. Um, I think that was one of the best things I did. I think that was definitely one of the best things I did. I I don't think it's just living in itself that changes you. Obviously, a changing environment, has its ups and downs, but I think it's the environment that you eventually get into and what that environment
Right,
does to you. Because I think being Nigerian now, um, I realize like everyone, let me not just say Nigeria, but let me say actually Nigerians in particular, we live in a bubble where it's
yeah,
a case of we mainly only know about like what's going on in Nigeria and like what's
for,
happening around us because we're very big. Like it's even
for
hard to
sure.
know what's going on in all 36 states. Like it's so much happening, so many people. Um, and we tend to only focus on our own space. So even the music that we consume is mostly like, oh yeah, these are people. We don't know what's going on in the continent.
Yes.
It's bro, like I when I came to Rwanda and I was telling my friends like, oh my gosh, I have a friend from Madagascar and from this place. My friend in Nigeria was like, wait, Madagascar is not just in the movie, and I was like, oh my god, I'm
That
telling
sounds like something we would say in this, but it's real. You know, but the
yeah,
Nigerian culture is just so big. You guys have all the
yeah,
artists. Like, why would you listen to anybody else?
yes. I'm telling you, and I feel like we have that pride of like we're the biggest in Africa, we're the best, so we don't really care about what's going on anywhere else you get. But I
Right,
think that experience really opened my mind to see, Africa, to see like, oh my
yeah,
gosh, there's so much going on this continent, and it's still opening my mind. Being in Europe now, I'm seeing Europe as well, but I'm also, proud of my African heritage
for
because
sure,
I've been in a place where I've been exposed to see like Africa is beyond Nigeria and like there's so much, to Africa. There's so much to the people. There's so much to, our potential and so much that we're doing that I feel proud of it. Like I don't feel like, oh my gosh, like yeah, I'm in Europe, I want to be a European. I'm like, nah, I
no,
know my
no,
I
no,
know
no,
my people. You get me?
yeah,
I think there's that exposure that comes when you leave your space to another place. You learn so much. You're exposed to different cultures, people. That's again, I will reiterate, people have been like my biggest blessing because now it's like I can go to Ghana and I'm like I have like five people that I know that are
yes,
from that place. You get and you benefit from that as well. You benefit from the opportunities, you benefit from just being the access to that space. So I definitely feel like it's a very good thing to be it's a privilege actually because I
yeah,
don't think everyone can have that. It's
for
a
sure,
privilege to be able to leave your home space, to leave your comfort zone, and get to experience another culture, another country, um and what it comes with. So I if you have the opportunity, I really say go for it. It's going to be hard and it's going to challenge you so much, especially if you don't have anyone in that space.
right,
In Rwanda, I had my brother. Here, I don't have anyone, and this has been definitely, some of the hardest times of my life. But I think it's definitely going to do something in me that in my next chapter, I will be able to do so much more. It's going
for
to
sure.
open up like a new or a bigger capacity, to be able to, be independent and do stuff for myself that I couldn't have before. So yeah, I advise anyone to go for it.
I love that. They say people who are able to move with, maybe a few friends or no friends or whatever, like are not afraid of anything.
Yeah.
So I commend you. I'm definitely going to be following your journey. And where can the folks like get in contact with you? Like, what's the best platform for folks to connect with you on?
Definitely LinkedIn. For now, at Orolwa Official. That's my full LinkedIn. But also you can find me on TikTok because I want to be sharing more about my French and my journey
Yeah.
being in Nigeria and France. So
Yeah.
you can also get me there on TikTok at Ore_Fisher. So
Okay. That's awesome. Well, great episode, and I can't wait to catch you again. Appreciate it.
thank you so much for having me. I loved
Of
having this
course.
conversation.
Of course. Peace.
Bye.